Hey guys, Luke here from bassgorilla.com, and in this video we're taking a look at Rogue One by Sonic Faction. This is a soft synth that is designed for Ableton Live users, and it is actually made from sounds coming from this. This is the Pro One. It's a vintage analog synth from the 70s, made by a company called Sequential Circuits. Obviously it's no longer in production, but luckily for us, the guys at Sonic Faction have taken the time to meticulously sample a lot of the sounds from that synth and put them into this soft synth which they've made for Ableton Live users. So let's check it out. What I've done is I've just drawn in some chords and made a pretty simple 128 BPM beat. And then I went over to presets and selected this preset here called Life in a Glass Bottle. So let's check it out. So straight out of the box, you can see that we have a pretty simple interface to work with right here. There's a master volume control. There's a detune level, which makes everything sound more stereo and wider. There's also a noise control and a glide amount. Now you can also choose whether to have the synth as polyphonic or monophonic. So we're going to keep it in monophonic mode. Next I want to talk about the two oscillators A and B. You can turn them off independently of each other. So this is oscillator A, and we can control the volume of A independently. The frequency actually controls the pitch. So you can use that in conjunction with oscillator B to have the pitches at different levels, and that will allow you to create harmonies. You can also control the octave. So we'll keep it at an octave of 1. And then you can choose the waveform shape. So we can choose between a pulse or a sawtooth. So if it's on pulse, we can also control the pulse width. And this will change the timbre of the sound. Same goes for oscillator B, but we also have a triangle waveform. Okay, so now we're going to move on and walk you through all of these 7 different tabs we have here. So I'm going to start off on the filter tab. And in the filter window, you can see that we have a filter, and we can control the frequency of it, the resonance, velocity here, and key. We can also morph between different filter types. So right now we have a band pass, high pass filter, and this is obviously a notch. We're just going to go back to a low pass for a second. Bring that down, and now I'm going to show you what we have next to that, which is a filter envelope. And you can see that the amount of the filter envelope being applied to the filter's frequency is 53. It's got a max level of 72. You can also invert it to minus 72. And we can control the attack, the decay, the sustain level, and the release time. And then you can also control the slope of the attack and the decay and the release. You can also link this filter to the amp. Okay, so let's move forward. Next tab we have here is the amplitude envelope. I'm just going to increase the sustain here. It's the same idea again. You've got attack, decay, sustain, release, and then you can control the slope, the curve of the attack and the decay and the release. And these go both ways, like that. We have a pitch envelope here. Okay, so moving on to the next tab, we have here the shape window. And this allows us to add shaping. So soft shaping, hard, sine, and then 4-bit. So I'm going to leave it on hard, bring that down a bit. We also have frequency modulation. And you can choose between FM and AM here. So I'm going to choose a triangle. And you can control the attack, decay, sustain and release of that as well, of the actual frequency modulation itself, and the coarse tuning of it. Here we have the LFO tab. So there are two LFOs, and the first LFO you can assign to the amplitude. It can be in hertz or it can be in sync. And you can activate retrigger or have it deactivated. You can also control the attack. You can assign it to the filter. Panning. Or the pitch. And then LFO2 has an assign function where you can assign it to anything. So for example, the filter morph. And if we change that, so that's a sine wave. And if we look at the filter window, you can see the filter type is morphing because of LFO2. So now we're looking at the effects tab, and we have Saturator, which obviously warms up the sound, gives it a lot more power. We have Chorus. Auto pan, we have frequency shift, and the rate, redux, and then reverb, dry wet and time, and also delay. And now we have the ARP window, which controls the nature of the arpeggiators. So in this instance, we're using just arpeggiator A, and you can see that it's a pink hexagon, which means that it's on, whereas B is grey, so it's not on. It's straight currently, we'll change it to swing 16. And and we'll change the rate. The distance that the arpeggiation travels in terms of semitones. So by increasing that, you can get a lot more melodic variety. The gate. Some very interesting sounds coming now. And then the style, up and down. You'll see here that we also have a second arpeggiator B, and that's actually a second arp that interplays with the first one, causing really crazy rhythm sequences and unexpected patterns. So it's a really great way to create some very unusual and unexpected patterns and sequences in your music. So both arpeggiators A and B work to affect the entire synth. Then we'll take a look at the presets tab. So right now we're looking at Life in a Glass, and you can click random to randomly select any of these presets, or you can open up this drop down menu and select any preset that you want. So you actually get quite a lot of control over the sounds that you come out with, or you can take more of a random approach and see what the synth generates for you itself with the arpeggiator. So it's a really lovely sounding synth. I'm really impressed with it. I recommend you to check it out and look further into it, and go to sonicfaction.com to find out more information. Thanks for watching this video.